We're going to start with assessment of transdisciplinary research proposal, and that's Mark. I'll give you I'll inform you after 2 minutes when there's only 1 minute remaining. Mark.
Yes, good afternoon from Dresden, Germany. It's Markus. Together with Mark, we have proposed this working group, and we addressing the urgent need to better assess the whole part of research which is dedicated to the co-production of knowledge together with actors outside professional science. And this is why we suggest a working group on the assessment of transdisciplinary research proposals. Next slide, please. And the overall objective is to strengthen our capacity to assess the excellence of transdisciplinary research, starting from the input over the processes, the outputs, outcomes, until the impacts. And we would like to co-produce standards and guidance for funding organizations, starting from the call design until the reporting for transdisciplinary research. And we think that's necessary because we see there's at the moment a lack of support for transdisciplinary research and research policy, while there are also deficits and inconsistencies in understanding the specific qualities, the preconditions, the success factors of excellent transdisciplinary research. Next slide, please. When I said co-producing, we have already along the whole chain a partnership on board. We are a free research institute based in Germany. We have an academy from the Czech Republic. We have 2 research funding institutes from Sweden and a couple of universities from Europe. Next slide, please. The added value beyond the state of the art is that we would like to start with a review on scientific findings and practical experience on how we do evaluate and fund transdisciplinary research at the moment. We would like to co-design standards and guidance encompassing the entire impact pathway. We want to make that account for a diverse geography and for different societal contexts in Europe, but also outside Europe. And we would like to create a reference base with good practice, and of course establish a strong interest community on evidence-based transdisciplinary research. Next slide, please. We expect the following impacts.
1 minute.
Thanks. Yeah, we think we will strengthen the role and the relevance of transdisciplinary research and research policies. We see that we can empower the researchers and stakeholders who are involved in transdisciplinary research at all career levels. And we would like to include this marginalized and underestimated knowledge, which we urgently need for tackling societal challenges and bringing about new innovations. And of course, in doing so, we would like to ensure also the integrity of research policy and creating responsible transdisciplinary research. And in doing so, we also hope to support the interoperability of data and the wider comparability of transdisciplinary research. Our idea to move forward is 3 stages: piloting, leveraging, and mainstreaming, testing things and learning from that. Then leveraging means we see where we can scale that up, and then we follow with a mainstream idea. Last slide, please. Our next step is that
wrap up now.
Sorry?
If you could wrap up, it would be great.
Oh yeah, okay, I make it very quick. We would like to enlarge our community across the whole chain, associations, academies, authorities, and research funders, but also to have a wider geographical coverage in Europe to have a diversity in that proposals. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mark. Next, multilinguals and language biases. Let's chat.
Good afternoon. My name is Janne Pölönen. I work at the Federation of Finnish Learned Societies, and I present you a proposal on multilingualism and language biases. Next slide, please. So research is international, but it is also characterized by linguistic and cultural diversity. And our mission is to promote assessment culture that values academic work in all languages without exclusions or priorities. We aim to reach this goal firstly by raising awareness about the importance of multilingualism across STEM and SSH fields, promoting international excellence and leadership while being locally relevant and anchored. Secondly, we provide institutions with policy advice, toolkit, and implementation proposal for addressing language biases in metrics and peer review and university rankings. Ideally, language is a non-issue in assessment and funding, but in practice, the criteria and methods are often far from language neutral. Luckily, over 20 CoARA signatories of all types operating at global, European and national levels have recognized the importance of multilingualism and contributed to this co-creative process of proposal as partners. Next slide, please. So we bring together different communities of experts and strands of work inside and outside Europe. The working group builds on a very extensive policy work in place, including Helsinki Initiative on multilingualism in scholarly communication, mentioned also in the CoARA agreement toolkit. The working group supports EU institutions in their duty to uphold linguistic equity, diversity, and non-discrimination. The expected impacts include equal opportunities in assessment and funding to researchers and institutions across Europe and beyond. More effective knowledge transfer, as well as stronger engagement of citizens. We are also fully aware that practices, challenges, and benefits, even the worries of multilingualism, differ between fields, institutions, and countries. But we are not afraid of discussion and debate. Organizations are very, very welcome to join the co-creation of full proposal for our working group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right on time. Next one is assessment of applied practice-based research. Thomas.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity of presenting this workshop idea to you. This is a proposal which was jointly created with the German Hochschullehrerbund, which is the German Association of Professors of Universities of Applied Sciences, and the Hochschulallianz für den Mittelstand, which is a group of University of Applied Sciences in Germany, and US for Europe, which is the representation of universities of applied sciences at the European level. Applied or practice-based research is not only conducted at classical research universities, but also at specialized universities of applied sciences, which form part of higher education systems in some European countries, such as Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Finland, Sweden, the Netherlands, Denmark, or Norway. Over the last decades, however, there's some kind of convergent, which classical research university focus much more on applied research and not basic research only, and universities of applied sciences become much more than higher education institutions only, which only prepare the students for the job market, but develop strong research activity in practice fields and beyond. Moreover, under the influence of mission-oriented research and innovation funding, and under the conditions of universities developing third missions, in which they open up for society and the needs society has and the expectations society has, and under the terms of the necessity of reacting to global challenges such as climate change, energy supply, ecological forms of economy, we observe this convergence of applied research and basic research. You perhaps all have heard the term Pasteur's quadrant, which Stoke has supposed use-inspired basic research. So applied or practice-based research is not only an issue of University of Applied Sciences, but also of classical universities too. At the same time, practice-based or applied research plays a key role in regional, social, and sustainable development, and as well as the respective policy processes. So we think that it is very important to change research assessment criteria in such a way that they better reflect the specificities of practice-based or applied research, and which better shows the relevance and the contribution or the impact applied or practice-based research has in so many fields, not only in teaching, but also in collaborations with the economy, in opening up for society. This is reflected in the classical assessment scheme, we would say. So basically, this is the idea of the workshop, showing the diversity of impact of practice-based or applied research and developing a new and better set of assessment criteria and presenting this set of assessment criteria to funders. I have noticed that in block 3, there was also another
Can you wrap up?
Another proposal from Universities of Applied Sciences, led by my colleague Martin Jeckel from Zurich University of Applied Sciences. We will cooperate with them, but we will need more actors coming from funding organizations or authorities, for example, who are prepared or would like to contribute to this workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. Next one, looking at social sciences, arts and humanities, Gabby.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. And I'm Gabby Lombardo. I'm coordinating the European Alliance of Social Science Humanities. And please, next. Well, we deliberately left the working group on a large umbrella, mainly because I think it is worthwhile to have a large and embracing working group, which can then subdivide in a task force or subgroups, depending on how other people feel about it, the specific topics and line of engagement. The main mission is as simple as that: understand different approach across all the disciplinary cultures and the disciplinary approaches of social science humanities. We know it's a very wide field of research, and identify the common approach, and from west to east, north and south of Europe, but also to go a little bit beyond that. We have ISHA is already an umbrella organization of 70 organizations. We have 2/3 of institutions and 1/3 of disciplinary association, therefore all researchers, and about 100,000 researchers are represented in ISHA. We have the major expert in this area, which is Anresh, where Michael is also here with us. And the Coimbra group has already a specific working group on SSH, which will be contributing directly into it. And we got already a research evaluation agency, the AMVO, who has been looking forward and focusing on these issues. So this is only a sample of the members. They can join. They have joined already. They have already expressed interest in our group. Next, please. What we want to do is pretty straightforward: evaluation of methods, a coordinated approach. I mean, this is what it means a publication practice in our disciplines, what it means going beyond the publication. So what are the other product and output of research? These are all crucial questions in our discipline, are particularly relevant. Yes, next, please. We want to raise awareness of the importance of this, of the evaluation in social science humanities and its specificities, as well as a coherence with other science. And we want to influence evaluation agency across Europe, but not only. As I said, we are part of a transatlantic platform, which includes Association of Social Science Humanity in US, Canada, Africa. We have a connection with New Zealand and Australia. And I already presented the CoARA work, and they will be interested also to be outside expert or inside expert, if that be possible. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabby. Next one is the responsible assessment practices and social impact indicators within SSH disciplines. Laura?
Thank you, and good evening from Finland. So my name is Laura Niemi, and I'm presenting this working group entitled Responsible Assessment Practices and Societal Impact Indicators within SSH disciplines. Next, please. So in this working group, our aim is to outline current assessment practices and societal impact indicators within SSH discipline in order to spread the knowledge about the best practices and to advance the adaptation of more responsible and legitimized ways of assessing the research and researchers in SSH disciplines. So we are not only focusing on the individual level, but also group, department, faculty, and institutional level in our working group. And at the moment, we have partners in our working group from our University of Turku, but also from NRES, Federation of Finnish Learned Societies, and Tampere University, which is from Finland also. And the working group's main objectives are to review existing and applied assessment practices and indicators within SSH disciplines, then to identify indicators for societal impact and open science and evaluate their benefits, but also the consequences, and then to raise awareness of best assessment practices and novel CoARA compliant indicators. Next, please. We think that this working group supports the research assessment reform by introducing novel ways to assess diverse research output in SSH disciplines. And the working group focus on identifying quantitative and qualitative indicators of societal impact and open science, and aim to involve the responsible use of the indicators. And this working group provides novel approach and knowledge to, especially for researchers who are acting as evaluators in peer review processes. And this working group has been created and will operate in a research-led based manner. And we are taking into account the experience and concerns of researchers and different career stages. And all member organizations which are proposing this working group have already a special expertise on the assessment practices and societal impact indicators within SSH disciplines. So therefore, this working group is able to build upon and continue the work that is already done, and the reform of the academic assessment culture, and then supplement the work which is already done by bringing together many types of stakeholders and their expertise on assessment of research and researchers in SSH disciplines. So we focus on not only the outcome, the impact, but also the processes, so the impact pathways that are this kind of a process to the impact. And at this stage, we have a really good combination of partners, but of course we are looking for partners who have special expertise on the assessment practices and societal impact indicators, and who have this kind of a specialized knowledge. So we have this kind of a narrow perspective here, and we have already discussed with Gabby Lombardo, for example, of the collaboration. And of course, there was another presentation, including the societal impact in narrative CV, which could be maybe emerge in our working group. Thank you. Thank you very much, Laura.
And the last presentation for today, working group on administration and governance of research assessment reforms in biomedical research and related field across the institution. And that's Miriam. Please go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Miriam Kipp. I'm a group leader on incentives and indicators and the Charité representative on incentives and indicators, and I'm representing the Charité and the Berlin Institute of Health. And today presenting a working group on the administration and governance of research assessment reforms in the biomedical disciplines or affiliated disciplines. Next slide, please. So our assumption is, or the premise is that research assessments in research performing organizations are usually highly regulated and procedurally institutionalized. There are existing workflows and long-lasting culture of how to do things, how to change things. And a successful and sustainable research assessment reform also require an administrative reform. And the mission of this working group is to equip science management with knowledge and strategies to implement changes in their respective research assessment systems in alignment with CoARA. So to support participating, signing members in the action plans for the 4-year or 5-year or whatever time schedule they have, plans to implement CoARA into their research assessment systems. And the objectives are first to identify areas of change in relevant contexts, be it procedural, legal, the relevant stakeholders, how to engage them into the administrative reform of research assessment reform, and to identify relevant actors and their levels of readiness to change, and maybe provide strategies how to engage actors that are not yet so ready to change current practice, and to analyze previous experiences learned from early adopters of research assessment reforms, and describe at the end best practice scenarios for the different areas of research assessment. We have a couple of partners for this working groups already. That is the Università Vita Salute San Raffaele, Ospedale San Raffaele, yeah, and the German Psychological Society, and of course Charité, and we as the Berlin Institute of Health. Next slide, please. We aim to add knowledge on the organizational context of research assessment systems and provide useful insights into the institutional context of implementation of research assessment reforms for groups and initiatives that aim to identify or develop new tools and policies or indicators. We therefore would like to support to navigate a typical implementation barrier, which is the administration and governance structures, often, not always, but they are part of the barrier. And therefore to increase the likelihood of sustainable implementation and uptake of reforms. So the next weeks we would like to use, and today was the event for us to identify people who are equal, like thinking alike, who are working on same topics. I could identify some from the chat and also, of course, from the presentations now. And yeah, we would need a lot of partners, I think, and we are open to all kinds of other interests in this area. Thank you very much.